friends, and welcome back. I'm Rachel Hernandez. I'm the communications manager here at VetComm, and thanks to our partnership with Veterans InfoTap, we're here to connect you with his latest videos and bring you even more great content. The VA recently discovered that it overpaid veterans by about $6.8 million due to mistakes in setting the effective dates for disability claims, especially those related to the PACT Act. So, if the VA overpays you, can it take that money back? Yes. Here's the breakdown from Jason.
Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans InfoTap. I'm glad you made it. Is the VA going to be clawing back VA disability benefit payments? The answer is probably yes, because they just discovered an overpayment to veterans in the tune of about $6.8 million. And I wanted to dive into this because this is absolutely going to affect a large number of veterans. Tens of thousands of veterans are going to be impacted by this. And it's not going to take too long for the VA to start sending out letters. So let's front load this specific video with how you can navigate that if the VA overpaid you. What you really probably don't want is the VA to not pay you anything for however many months it takes to recoup the overpayment, right? So, for example, if they overpaid you $5,000 and you get $1,000 a month, you don't want to have zero pay for 5 months to repay the VA. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit. Then we're going to jump into the actual article here. Before I jump into it, I want to throw out a special thank you to JazzWind011. JazzWind011. Hey, thank you so much for that super comment, super chat thing. I don't even know what they're called. I do appreciate your support very much. All right, so let's jump into this. VA watchdog this is what they're saying. The VA misdated PACT Act disability decisions, costing the government and veterans millions. So let's dive into it. Now, my thought here is this could work two ways. All right, it could work that the VA shortchanged you, and it could work that the VA overpaid you. So depending on when they set your effective date, maybe they overpaid you, maybe they underpaid you, or maybe they got it right. It could be any one of those. But the fact is that the big number is really leaning towards overpayment. So no matter what, if you think that your disability benefits compensation might not have been counted correctly, maybe get with an accredited veteran service officer, service rep, somebody who's accredited. They can peek into the VA system for you, and they should be able to figure out the monkey math and figure out when your effective date is and all that stuff. And at a worst case scenario, they can always ask the VA to do essentially an audit of the payments to you. Now, look, if you got overpaid, they will figure it out eventually, and it's probably better if you're prepared. That's all I'm saying. All right, so let's just talk about this real quick on the overpayment side. So VA debt collection for overpayments occurs when a veteran receives more benefits than they are entitled to. This can happen due to changes in a veteran's status, administrative errors, or misunderstandings about eligibility criteria. The VA will typically notify the veteran about the overpayment and the process for repayment, which often includes deducting the debt from future benefit payments. All right, how does VA debt collection for overpayment work? Notification, number one. There's 4 things here that they're going to do. One, they're going to notify you. The VA will send you a letter from the Debt Management Center, the DMC, detailing the overpayment, the amount owed, and the reason for it. Repayment, VA will typically collect the debt by reducing the veteran's monthly benefit payment until the overpayment is repaid. Waivers or compromise. In some cases, veterans may be eligible for a waiver or compromise of the overpayment, meaning they may not be required to pay the full amount, or the VA may agree to a lower payment. This is important. You need to understand that if you are in dire straits, and this is just going to exacerbate all of that, you might want to reach out to the VA and let them know your situation. You can do, number 4 here, a dispute and appeal. If a veteran disagrees with the overpayment determination, they can dispute the debt and request a hearing. Common reasons for overpayments. changes in income. Not reporting changes in income can lead to overpayments of income-based benefits like pensions. Remember, pensions is a safety net program by the VA for low and no income veterans and surviving spouses. Okay, there's obviously more to it, but that's just to kind of put that in the right frame. Changes in marital status. Obviously, if you fail to report changes in marital status, such as the death of a spouse, that can affect the eligibility for certain benefits. Changes in dependency, the kids grow up, that type of stuff, not reporting those changes in dependent status, such as the dependent getting older or death of a dependent, that can also lead to overpayments. Incarceration would be another reason. Not reporting a period of incarceration can lead to overpayments. Other life events, and obviously the VA messing up, which is what this really is all about. And so with that, we're going to jump into this article here. So a sampling, and I did a video on this and I sent it out yesterday, but I'm really kind of hammering home on the fact that, if you got overpaid, you really need to be aware of what's probably coming. So a sampling of disability claims filed under the 2022 PACT Act found that roughly 1/4 listed incorrect start dates, resulting in improper payouts of about $6.8 million to some veterans and shortchanging an estimated 2,300 others. So it's on both sides of the coin. The lion's share is overpayments, but some were underpaid, and you need to also be aware. Again, if you think that you were underpaid because of the effective date, there's a bunch of different things that move around that affect the effective date of your claim. Could be an intent to file. It could be your claim date. It could be your diagnosis date. It could be the date of the law that changed how things work, in this case, the PACT Act. So it could be any one of those. And so that's why I always say it is good to check with an accredited rep who can peek into the VA system and make sure that they got it right. In a report released last Tuesday, the Veterans Affairs Office of Inspector General concluded that the legislation's complexity, along with inadequate guidance from the Veterans Benefits Administration, led claims adjudicators to assign the wrong effective date to an estimated 26,000 recipients. Now, that's a big number. And remember, they said, really, it's like 10% of that is overpayments, meaning that the rest are probably overpayments. So this is resulting in overpayments by the government in the first year of the legislation. So that's a horrible thing. An estimated 2,300 additional claims had erroneous dates, including some that should have been made retroactive to the date before the law was signed, increasing compensation for veterans. But the watchdog agency said it could not determine their monetary impact on any affected veterans. And look, the bottom line is if you got shortchanged $100, $1,000, $10,000, $100,000, you're underpaid and you need to go get that fixed. And consequently, on the other side, if you were overpaid $10, $100, $1,000, $10,000, $100,000, guess what? The VA will figure it out and they will come for you. So you need to be ready for that. Don't throw away your letters, because if you do, you will miss important timelines to work on some sort of resolution on that overpayment. And believe me, you don't want the VA taking your whole check or the majority of your check. All right. The landmark PACT Act, signed into law August 10th, 2022, expanded health care and benefits to millions of veterans exposed to environmental pollutants while serving overseas in specified combat zones across decades, including the Middle East and Afghanistan. According to the VA, it has received 2.44 million PACT Act-related claims since the law went into effect. It adjudicated 2.14 million claims and approved 1.59 million. And as of May 2024, it had awarded $5.7 billion in related benefits to veterans and survivors. The VA OIG estimated that the VA will have made an estimated $20.4 million in improper payments in the first 3 years of the law, representing about just over 0.36% of payouts. Moving on here, veterans who develop an illness related to the hazardous exposures or their survivors are able to file a claim at any time. However, in the first year following the passage, beneficiaries could submit a claim or an intent to file, preserving that date as your effective date, to receive any approved benefits backdated to August 10th, 2022. Some veterans who had diagnosed conditions covered by the PACT Act prior to its passage were eligible for retroactive benefits back to their date of diagnosis. However, August 10th, 2023, after that date, after August 10th, 2023, any approvals under the PACT Act would have the date of the application as a start date for beneficiaries, or in cases of intentions filed prior to that date to August 10th, 2022. All right, so the complexity of determining the correct start date led the VA OIG to review claims for accuracy. To figure out whether the VA was assigning effective dates correctly, the watchdog examined a statistical sampling of 100 claims filed in the law's first year. Based on that analysis, the OIG estimated that the VBA assigned an incorrect effective date to roughly 26,100 of the 131,000 claims, and it found it likely that an additional 2,300 should have been assigned a date that may have awarded veterans and their families more money. Errors that had the potential to affect veterans' compensation benefits occurred when claims processors decided claims before taking all the necessary steps, such as gathering additional evidence to determine whether a more advantageous effective date applied, wrote Larry Rickenmeyer, the VA's Assistant Inspector General. That's a hard name to say. So when he, the VA's assistant OIG guy, looked into it, he had a few choice things to say there. He also mentioned that as a result, some veterans did not receive their correct benefits. The OIG found that mistakes were made because claims processors were not adequately prepared to determine correct effective dates. The team added that the automated tools created to provide assistance in determining a date were unreliable. The team also noted that claims processors had made the VBA aware of the complexities, and the administration had taken steps to include updated training and conduct reviews to ensure accuracy. Nonetheless, the however you say it, Rinkenmeyer over at the OIG and the investigators made several recommendations for the VBA. Remember, VBA is Benefits Administration, so the Veterans Benefits Administration, to implement, including for the VA to create an effective tool to help processors determine the right date and remove ineffective date builders from the system, continue updating the system to ensure it follows claims-related laws, evaluate PACT Act training, and correct all processing errors found by the OIG team. Michael Frue, the VA's acting undersecretary for benefits, concurred with the recommendations in a written statement and said fixes had already been made that weren't covered by the report. Frue said that the VA would implement all recommendations by July 31st at the latest, and for the 24 claims of the statistical sampling that were erroneous, would complete the review and corrections by April 30th. Now, there's a whole lot more to look at, but those are the ones in the sampling. Since the start of the second Trump administration, lawmakers have expressed concerns about the scope of the PACT Act and the impact a proposed reduction in force at the VA would have on VA health benefits and claims processing. Some Republican lawmakers say that increased scrutiny by GOP-led White House and Congress could help hone the legislation, which they have described as being rushed through the legislative process. A lot of things have gone wrong because we didn't have the ability to finish that bill, said Senator Tuberville. one of the 11 senators who voted against the PACT Act. Hopefully, we'll look into that and see how we can help, because the PACT Act could be good if done the right way. Senator Maggie Hassan noted in a Senate Veterans Affairs Committee hearing March 11th that veterans will feel the impact on services if roughly 80,000 VA employees lose their jobs. Not only does this contradict the clear intent of Congress, it really does a disservice to our veterans. When you fire VA employees, veterans suffer, Hassan said. And with that, that concludes it. I did want to bring this to your attention because the majority of these incorrect dates for your VA claims for your effective date, the majority of those effective dates are against you as the veteran, meaning that you have been now overpaid and the VA is going to want their money back. And then secondly, there is a small number of those that were actually most likely underpaid. And for you need to figure out if you were underpaid so that way you can get what's due to you. With that, thanks for watching. I appreciate you very much. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.
Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button and don't forget to like and share this video with a fellow veteran. We'll see you next time.